Hello gamers, hello friends. Welcome to a brand new series. Welcome to Asheron's Call. The focus of this series is going to be a little bit about retro appreciation, kind of where your games of today came from yesterday. And we're going to show you this game, Asheron's Call, as it appeared in 2016. In all its glory and bugginess, let's call it. An important note here is this game was made in 1999, so it's very, very old graphics, and it may not be for some of you, but for those of you who are interested in, what games were theoretically like back then, and what kind of things we were doing back in yesteryear, this might be the series for you. So we're going to jump right into it. I'll probably ramble on forever about this particular game. For those of you that were watching my... Let's keep it basic because we are... let's go for Illuvian. For those of you that were watching my Infected series, you know that we just wrapped on that, and I talked a bit about Valheim and how I love me my Valheim, but my love of Valheim kind of started right here in this game, right here, and that is because I'm going to go custom. That is because this game, it was kind of my first big RPG, if you want to call it that. We're going to max out strength. You know what? We're gonna take quickness. If we're gonna do it, this is a bit of an extreme build, so stats matter. Skills matter in this game. And in fact, skills and stats are everything. So we're going to run down the abilities that we have specialized and trained here. So specialize means that you spend less experience to buy more points in that skill. You start with 52 credits, which is actually more than the original game. The original game, you had 50 credits, and in the earliest iterations of the game, you could drop useless skills for like a couple points or whatever, get a couple extra points that way. It looks like they have changed that. I did not get to play as much of this game in its earliest iterations as I would have liked, but it was fun nonetheless. So arcane lore is our ability to use magical items through our knowledge of the arcane, as it were. So magical weapons are still magical, even if you don't meet the arcane lore requirement. They just don't activate. The magic on them does not activate unless you meet the arcane lore requirement. And in certain items, there is a lot more. There could be like allegiance rank or racial requirements, skill requirements to activate some of this stuff. As long as you meet all those requirements, it will activate and the effects will be on you as long as the item has mana. Jump, bigger jump numbers mean bigger jumps. Obviously, loyalty probably is not going to affect us, but it affects your experience chain, which is something, if it becomes relevant, we'll go into in much greater detail. But you were encouraged through loyalty and leadership skills to produce a large amount of experience. Nutshell version is, if I earn 1,000,000 experience, the guy above me gets like 100,000 sort of thing at high levels. It's like 10% pass up. So if I make 1,000,000 experience, he makes 100,000, but he's got 12 guys under him, right? And 1,000,000 experience is nothing. Trust me. This game runs on many millions per hour of experience. Magic defense is how good you can protect yourself against magical attacks. Run, pretty obvious. It's how fast you run. Salvaging is weird. I don't fully understand it. I never did. It ties into like the tinkering skills, so you can see here armor tinkering under usable. It ties into those. But basically it allows you to turn extra items that you're not going to use into raw materials that you can apply to another item. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is figure out what kind of skills we want. So there's two types of skills that you don't have trained. There's the usable to untrained skills and the unusable. Unusable means if you don't put points into them, you cannot use them at all. Like, at all. We are going to take... What do I want to play as? You know what? We're going to play as an archer. So that and alchemy are going to be very useful. Lockpick is also going to be useful. I may wind up dropping that down later. I am probably going to take summoning later, but not yet. Life magic not really needed for this kind of character. I could do cooking. I probably should do cooking. We'll take cooking later. I feel like mana conversion has to do with when you're casting spells. It reduces the amount of mana you actually have to use to cast the spell. Nah, we'll skip that. Although I do want to take summoning. We're not going to be using summoning right away, but we're going to take it because it's expensive and we have the points. We're going to take melee defense and missile defense so that they're items that we have, and we're going to take missile weapons because we're an archer. This will allow us to use bows, crossbows, and thrown weapons with pretty much equal skill. And we are going to take our missile weapons up. No, we're not. Okay. This is where we might have to drop some stuff. We're going to drop down alchemy. I'm going to raise up missile weapons. And we are going to drop down... No, we're fine. We're fine. You know what? Dirty fighting looks like it would be good. And Not much we could take for 2, eh? Let's go with... Is there anything we can raise? Sure, we could raise dirty fighting. Raise loyalty. Let's raise dirty fighting. Okay. Dirty fighting. Wow, what is that camera flare? Can we... Hang on. Maybe... Yeah, okay. That's a little better. We're not albino anymore. Okay. So let's go, sure, red hair, and let's see, what are the options for eyes? Let's go green. Nose, not really any options. Mouth, not really any options. We could change the shape of it. Can't change the color. That's fine. So the character creation is very, very basic. Whoa. You can pick male or female. I tend to play as females, just because. Honestly, they kind of get access to better hairstyles. Where's my ponytail? Okay. No, we're not doing follow. Come on now. There we go. Headgear. Nah. No headgear. Shirt. Trousers. Shorts. Yeah, let's go with the baggy pants. And footwear. Boots, always. Footwear is one of the few areas that you can actually get actual boots for free. These actually have an armor rating. None of the other stuff does. It's the only stuff that you get that has an armor rating. Sure, we like Holtberg. Holtberg is fine. Oh, our game died. Okay, there we go. Right. With today's modern programs and stuff, it's a little weird. Okay, we're going to move all this stuff around because, yeah. Alright. So I like to have my options menu up here. It's just a personal preference thing. You can move these around as much as you like. You do not have to have them set up in a certain way. Once you actually get the whole layout thing figured out, you just lock the window and you'll be fine. If you hit the lock, it turns everything into like locked mode. You can't drag it around anymore, which is good, because you want your stuff to be accessible, but you also don't necessarily want your stuff to be like floating all over the place. You don't want to have to go looking for it. So if you use these 2 gems here, they'll give you a couple of buffs. That's fine. So, regarding the interface, it's old, very old. If you hit the little squiggly thing beside the one on the top row, you'll enter combat. You'll be able to choose whether you want maximum speed, medium speed, or high accuracy. This comes into play later when we actually get into combat. As an archer, we actually want high accuracy, at least at the start. Okay, so all of these things, you can't click on them for the most part. You could click on the bruised apple, but why would you? We can read the letter for home. The situation in Alluvia grows worse by the day. Our armies do what they can to hold the western border, but the armies of Viamont persist. We have taken heavy losses, but their ranks seem to grow ever larger while ours grow noticeably weaker. I fear the days of our realm grow short. I know not what lies beyond the portal you have chosen to take. Perhaps a life of joy and peace, perhaps not. Whatever lies out there, I wish you luck. This old world is too full of death and pain. You deserve better than that. So that is your introduction to the lore of the game. It's not particularly descriptive, but what they're referring to is the fact that basically at a point in the lore, everybody that's here, like all the players, were sucked into a portal from another world. So this is a completely different world than the one that you know, the one that you grew up in. I'm just going to eat this bread. And now it's the story of you learning to survive this new world called Dareth. And there was lore in there about like the Ulthoi enslaving humanity and everything else. We'll touch on that later, I'm sure. This game is huge. It encompasses like 17 years worth of continuous development. Things have changed. Things got rewritten. So there's a lot of lore. There's a lot to unpack here. The Viamont are the blue-skinned people that you'll see occasionally running around. We could go over to their capital. They're at peace with us now because they too got sucked through. Spoilers. But, yeah. So, we talked to this person. There is no voice acting in this window. Right, when a character speaks to you, her chat is displayed in the chat at the bottom of the screen. Read your text window. That's this thing. Hail and welcome. No time to chat. Get on with your training. Click on the backpack in the lower icon. Give her the blue calling stone. So in order to give stuff to people, we have to click and drag. Over top of the greeter, give it to them. If you wish to skip the tutorial, talk to Jonathan in the next room. He'll reward you with all the items and experience. Blah, 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 blah. We're not going to do that. We are going to go through the academy. I am not going to pick up every item in here, though. You know what? We'll read that later. Right now, we want to get through the academy. So technically, there is starter armor scattered around throughout the academy. We're not going to pick any of it up. We're not going to need it. With our melee defense skill, we are not in any real danger in this academy. But there's a set of gauntlets there. There is a set of pants, and I think there's a hat somewhere. Yeah, a hat. And you can pick those up if you want. I'm not going to. They're worth nothing, and they're harder to get rid of than I would like them to be. Okay? So combat in this game, we used to use a whole bunch of hotkeys. Because to us it made sense. Delete, end, and page down above your arrows is how you selected your attack level, like where on the creature you're aiming. And you could hold them down to fill the bar more, or let it fill to a arbitrary point. It was up to you. So we're going to stand back here. Where's my strafe? There it is. Z and C are strafe. The controls on this game are not good. They have not aged well. And we'll just... Yeah, see? One hit, golem down. These guys are just training dummies. You pick up the item. You've acquired a token. Give it to the Academy Master. That's this dude. Training Master, sorry. There we go. The original experience for this area is not that big. I am playing on a server that has 10 times XP rewards, so you'll level faster, especially in the early game. Late game though, it's still more of a grind. Late game is still going to be, you know, challenging in that, you know, we're going to have more to worry about than just experience. In this game, experience is cheap. It's easy to come by. It's not the main challenge. This game was built around the concept of exploring. Exploring is and was the primary method by which you did everything. Like, the whole purpose of the game was exploring the world that you're in. So experience was a byproduct, not the goal. And you spent your experience to purchase skills. And we'll do that once we get out of the training academy here. There we go. We got the key. Okay. It occurs to me I haven't talked to any of these people. And so the first guy gave us a quest to kill a golem and retrieve a token. This guy wants you to reduce the number of carpenter wasps in his workshop. And this guy wants you to go back and get the bellows that the naughty little Thrungus stole. The Thrungus being this mushroom dude right here. I believe one of only 2 types of creatures that will actually attack you before you attack them. Oh, right. Yeah, you get this key with, I think it's 50 uses? 20 uses. And you have absolutely no reason to have a key that badass. Okay, can I don't remember. There used to be a time where you could buy, in this area, you could buy other starting items, I think. Or am I might be remembering stuff wrong. That is entirely possible. Here we could buy a backpack, some food, keys and tools. We'll buy a couple plain lockpicks. We don't need them yet, but they'll come in handy later. Spell components? No. Containers. Yes. We want a container. Can we... Okay. Oops. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, you have to exit combat mode, which again is the little squiggly thing between, or beside the number 1 button on your keyboard up top. We use the oil of rendering on the bow. Do I have to take it off? Yeah, I do. Okay. And then we put our Academy short bow on, which is much faster than the other weapon. It also confers a bonus to defense because it's a superior quality. This will take us to the last area of the Academy. And we're just gonna burn through here. First and foremost, we are going to use this. This is a life stone. So the concept behind Dareth and Death is you're attuned to a life stone, which means this stone, this magical stone, will resurrect you when you die. But it will resurrect you at the life stone, which means you leave behind a body that if you want your stuff back, you have to go back and get. Okay, normally creatures will drop items, but... Ooh, hello. Okay, apparently these guys do drop items. I was going to say, as far as I know, these guys don't drop items. Apparently I'm wrong. Now, for most classes, the amount of strength behind what you're doing, or like the amount of strength you put into something, is what determines your damage. Ooh, hello. I'll take that. Fire Wisp essence. Let's throw one of those down. You know what? We haven't even used our summoning, so let's try that. I don't know how exactly that works. Let's give it a shot. Let's find something to use it on. Summoning is too low. What? Oh! Oh, that feels bad. Okay. Well, apparently we won't be doing any of that yet. Ooh, an apple. And this is the big guy that we're supposed to be hunting. Gnarly! Ooh. Coalesced mana. If I'm not mistaken, there's a quest that involves that stuff. So you can auto run with Q. All that does is makes it so that you're always in motion. Uh-oh. Hello. Also, these are Ulthoi. We used to call them bugs. On account, they kind of look like ants or something. Not actually sure what they're based off of. If y'all know, let me know. Because I have no idea what they're supposed to be. And they don't always stand up like that either. Sometimes they crawl on 6 legs. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Weird, I say! We give this guy the protection orb. He gives us a mitt full of experience. And oh, look at that. We're level 14 already. Cool. Again, I am playing on a 10 times server. Oh. Alright then. Somebody done died at the Lifestone. That's unusual. I mean, not really, but where's my path warden? Wait, what the hell? Pumpkin buffer. Okay. Where is my path? When you come out of the academy, you're supposed to take a path warden chest, but Finrala Rindman. I don't know why I got 2 of them. Okay. Huh. Well, that's weird. Yeah, there used to be chests, like, around. And you used to be able to get starter gear from them. But, yeah, I don't know where they went. In any case, we have some experience. Let's okay. Let's go ahead. We'll whoa. So let's explain how this works a little bit better. So in this game, you can take abilities with skill credits. So things that you didn't have trained at character creation, you can buy with skill credits. So like I could buy item or creature. Item will help me get around easier. And that's going to be where we put those. We're not going to put any XP into that right now. We're just going to buy it. Now we do have 3 skill credits available. That's not really enough to buy anything, so we're going to hold off on that for now. What we want is at least 40 points in strength. So if we hit the plus 10, it'll give us plus 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4. See how my unassigned experience is going down? And the cost to raise is going up? That's because I am buying stat points with my experience. If I want to buy more stats, I have to get more experience. Right? So there's ways to raise your skills, and there's ways to raise your stats, and it's all by spending experience. However, you can raise. Actually, we're going to buy a whole bunch of endurance. So see, now I have 6 of 28 and 13 of 50. We're going to keep going with that. Oh, we can only buy 50 endurance for what we have. 250,000 experience. But that gives us a max health pool of 33, which is fine. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to get 4 bouts of coordination. We get a couple things of quickness, and we are going to get a couple things of self. So why are we getting self? That's our mana. Well, I mean, we're going to need mana to use item enchantment, but that's not actually why we want it necessarily right now. What we want is to bring our summoning up, because we are essentially building a ranger build here. We'll take some points in arcane lore. Did I buy any quickness? I don't remember. Yeah, I did. Okay. So that woman told us to go see Alfred. She's going to tell us to do he's going to tell us to do a drudge hideout, and we're going to go do that. The drudge hideout is actually a really good place to go when you first get out of the academy, and that's on account of it's really close. Pays pretty decent experience, even in its base form. Right, we're going to get 500k for all the bags, but we're also going to get so much more than that. Right. Okay, so Alfred. Hello, may I buy you a drink? Oh no, I am out of Pyreal again, I have forgotten. That is the danger of drowning your troubles, I suppose. You may forget troubles in the drink, but you forget everything else as well. My troubles? How kind of you to ask. I would be happy to tell you my troubles. You see, I am a farmer. Well, alright, an aspiring farmer. I just know that I could be a good farmer if I could but get the seed in the ground. But the drudges keep stealing my seed. They nicked his seed! They nicked his seed, how rude! If you could retrieve my seed bags for me, all 3 of them, and perhaps bring me the head of the dastardly drudge who is behind the theft, I will reward you well. You can find many drudges, or you can find the drudges in their nearby hideout. Wilhelmina at the bar has the directions. So this is where our journal comes into play. Okay. So there are a few different, and they didn't have this when we were playing originally. So, wait. Yeah, pathing in this game sucks. Half the time you're just out of range. Okay. Gem? No, it's for the facility hub. That's not what I want. Cooking items? Purifying, food? No. Wilhelmina. Okay, well, we don't need it, but you're the guy I'm supposed to... Huh? What did I just... Huh? Okay, so Buckminster tells you, hey there, pal. Always a pleasure to see a new face in town. You may wish to talk to Alcott at 42.1 north, 33.6 east. He'll instruct you in the ways of the Lifestone. And since you are here now, the bartender says a few contracts. Contracts are a great way to find work. Some people will even reward you with a pretty penny for your efforts. Contracts are sealed with different colored wax. Didn't note their difficulty. Greenhorn like you should stick to blue contracts for now. Make sure you stop by Pathwarden Thorolf over at 42.2 north and 33.6 east. Before you off and make a name for yourself, simply hand him the Pathwarden token. He'll give you Okay, so that's what I was looking for. And don't forget to visit Alcott at 42. And he'll instruct you in the ways of life zone. Oh yeah, and if you're finished with the suit contract, simply get rid of it. He gives you 500 pyreals, 250,000 experience. Right? And he tells, and remember, if you ever get lost in this world, simply type /lifestone to return to town. So Where is Thorolf? Oh, wait. Thorolf was at 42. Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work. There we go. A little too tall. So that's your compass point. That's your compass. 33.6. He should be right here. Huh. Yeah. So this thing will cast the best buffs in the game on you, basically. You just come back here when they run out. If you want to see how long you have, well, yeah. Anyway. Now we head over to the Drudge hideout. I have no idea where this guy is supposed to be. He's supposed to be standing right there. I don't know. The chicken. I don't know why it's called the chicken, but it is. So if we follow this road south out of town, we will see a Drudge hideout. The only people this is good for is new arrivals. In the original retail, I think it was restricted to 20 or lower. It's that easy, guys. Oh, Drudge Charm. Ooh, a real helmet. 232. We'll take that. Exhaustion other. So some things you'll want to pick up just cause. Like the peppermint and the Drudge Charms are really good. Ooh, nice. War Magic 3, Armor... Garbage. Armor 3, Blade Pro 2, Impen 2. Arcane Lore 114. You know what? Even though we can't... I don't think we can meet those requirements, we're still going to take them. Because that's actually a pretty decent set of pants. Linen Tunic. It's a standard leather girth. Okay. Coordination Self 2 and Impan 3. Interesting. An Acid Trident. Not what we're looking for. Now again, some of the stuff we're looking for the we're taking for the loot. There's one of our quest items. We'll just throw that in there so that we know where it is. And we got a bow with Heart Seeker 2. It also comes with a 4 melee defense. Okay. And you'll notice the buff actually transferred, right? Now when things attack you, they're going to throw stuff at... Sometimes they're going to throw stuff at you. And when they do, you do not have to sit there and take it. This is not World of Warcraft. Now, these guys are not... They're also not particularly dangerous, so... Ooh, minor war magic aptitude and magic resist. That is not a bad necklace, per se. At this level, actually, that's relatively decent, considering that is well above what you could expect to get. Like, most of these are pretty mundane. We're just picking them up for gold. But, so we're going to go and get this bag. And this bag is going to go in our other bag with our other quest item. You can use that vat to restore stamina if you have to. And we're going to go up here. Fight! Oh. You'll notice that even though we are buffed to high heaven, they could still hurt us. And that's because, you know, we're low level. We don't have a lot of items. And where is that other bag? So those Drudge Charms will come into play later. They're just small experience hand-ins. Now normally when you go through here, you are not level 18 by the time you come out. That is abnormal. Again, we are playing on 10 times experience. So when you're going through this, you're doing this like if you were to, you know, download the game and play along. If you're not playing on the same server, it's probably going to be a slightly different experience journey. I had to think about that one for a second, but yeah, it's going to be a slightly different experience for you than it is for me, because yeah, I'm using a ground shakes and ion baker, huh? Jumping mastery, 200 combat, heavy weapon mastery, quickness, major armor tinkering. You know what? That's probably worth picking up. Holy smokes! This is one of those situations where you get into a corner and you actually try and stay there. So, Asheron's Call has some weird physics to it. When we get out of here, I think that's probably all we're going to be doing for today. We've already gotten to level 18, and it may have been a mistake to actually play on a experience modified server. Oh, there we go. There's something. Fletching 1? Yeah, sure, I'll take that. So as creatures move around, they tend to slightly change position. And that means that it can be really hard for melee characters. Oh wow, that is actually a pretty nice sword. It's a shame it doesn't have any modifiers, but I wonder if they modified the gear drops on this server. It's been a while since I played, guys, so, so I couldn't tell you rightly whether anything's, you know, default or not. I mean, there are modifications to this server, quality of life things, but okay, so yeah, I have no idea where the guy that's supposed to be giving us gear is. Because yeah, he should be like right here. He's not. Minster, Alfred. Yeah, I have no idea where he is. Here's what it is. Generally, I was fairly certain he was over here, or right over here, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to spend some experience. Then when we come back, and we will be back, we'll wind up, we're going to do a quest, or we're going to try and do a quest. So, what the fuck? Okay. Oh, wow, okay. That's confusing. So if you look at a skill, you can tell, it tells you what it needs to raise. So, for 3 points of focus, you can raise your arcane lore. Right? For focus and coordination, you can raise lockpick. Focus itself, you can raise item enchantment, various different things. And that's important to know, because in almost every situation, it's going to be more economical to raise a stat than it is to raise the skill. Right? So endurance will help us raise our summoning skill, for example. If I get 10 points of endurance, 20 points, look at that. Right? Endurance itself over 3. I just got 6 points of summoning. We're getting more health, I might add. Let's go. We'll get a couple of points in that, and we'll get some focus. There we go. There are times where you do want to raise the skill itself. So, once you dump a sufficient amount of points into any skill, or into any stat, it becomes uneconomical to raise the stat, to raise a skill, right? And that's when you start focusing on the actual skill itself. Like, if we take missile weapons, it costs me 4. Okay, so 62 to raise my missile weapons. 1 point. Now, I would need 2 points of coordination. Well, my coordination takes 4,000 to raise. So rather than spend that, we're going to spend, 4,000 experience, and we're going to get 20 points of missile weapon. Now, why do stats versus skills matter? Skills matter because they determine your success rate in absolutely everything. So, for example, my missile weapons is currently over 5,000. I'm not sure how that works, but apparently it does. These 10,000 point buffs are really confusing to me because the most we ever had was 40. So, I'm just going to go over here, hopefully out of range of that stupid pumpkin buffer. There we go. He is not on my radar anymore, which means he should not be able to target me. So, when you're talking about your skills and stats, right, short-term gains in terms of skills, because I can raise, where's a good one to, I don't have a good stat anymore. At this point, I'm probably going to be buying points in actual skills because, yeah, reasons. Let's actually see if we can get some summoning. No. Okay, so you need the appropriate stats in order to do anything. Like, take for example my mud golem that I started with. Requires 50 summoning to use. This one requires 310 and level 40. We're not quite level 40, but so This one needs 50 summoning skill, and it has 50 uses. If I don't have 50 summoning skill, I can't use the golem, and that means part of my kit is locked away. On the other hand, missile weapons. If I'm shooting at stuff with my bow, if I don't have a high enough skill, I'm not going to be able to hit it. So when you attack something, your weapon skill is pitted against their defensive skill of the appropriate type. So in the case of an archer, if you're shooting, you're going against their missile defense skill. If you're a mage, you're targeting their magic defense. And if you're like a sword swinger or whatever, it's melee defense. And it also depends on whether they're specialized or not. But that's more of a PvP thing. So you want your skills to be high. Okay. Skills high equals hitting stuff, equals killing stuff, equals better day for you. Now let's throw on throw that on. And let's see, we had some... Oh wait, where's the other dagger? Oh my god, did I forget? No, I didn't. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Alright. Let's see about throwing some real armor on. That's a 219. So when I say a number like that, when I'm looking at armor, it means the armor level. This is what you're going with. Because that's its general overall resistance to damage. 236, yeah, we could throw those on. Oh, that's a hobo, okay. That is a much better helmet than nothing at all, but it is also the best one that we have in our inventory. Strength and bludgeoning 3. Sure, let's throw that on. Coordination in pen. Minor two-handed. In pen 3. Nah, nothing really there for us. Leather leggings. Plain Jane leather leggings, huh? Do we have anything in this bag? I don't think so. Oh, what is that one? Jumping 4, two-handed, heavy weapon, quickness, and major armor. Not really something we can use. That'd be nice, though. Invulnerability 2 and quickness 1. Not seeing a whole lot here. We'll throw that on, but it's not. Creature 2, dirty fighting. Sure, why not? Quickness, self, cooking mastery, invuln. Sure, why not? So, you might be wondering, why are we even bothering? Like, why are we... It's a good question. Yes, we have buffs. We have the best buffs that we can get our hands on at the moment. But they don't last forever. Ooh, regen, quickness, and impen. Well, the regen's worth that. Okay. the buffs don't last forever. And if they wear off, you want to have something that's a little more permanent, if that makes any sense. And you don't want to be relying on buffs only. Like, when it comes to... Well, I mean, just about every player relies on buffs only. What you don't want is to be reliant on buffs that can be dispelled. Specifically. The warbow is better. That's actually a pretty decent lightning sword. We're going to hang on to that. Right. Alright. And at the end of every adventuring, grinding, whatever session, we do two very important things. First and foremost, we sell all the excess crap. And that's important. What you got for me? Nothing good. We'll keep the Academy short bow as a memento of our time as a Needlet. And we'll sell all this. And you do want to go to specific vendors. So in this game, it actually matters. If you go to a weaponsmith and you sell armor, you're not going to get as much as if you went for an actual armor smith. Armor smith's going to give you a little bit more. Not a lot more. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is not game-breakingly or game-destroying or playthrough-destroying amounts of difference. It's maybe 5% because they deal in weapons, right? And while, yes, they can technically... perfect. What's the puzzle box do? Yeah, garbage. Garbage out of here. There we go. Alright. So what do we do with all these drudge charms? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to give them to a person. We're going to give them to a collector, because a collector will give us some money. They'll give us, some minor crap. And look, there's a collector right here. You gotta give them one at a time, unfortunately. Alright, he'll give us 12,000 experience and 200 per drudge charm. At least for these ones. The other ones you can do other stuff with. But look at that. Now we are going to hold back about 6 of these. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Where's the other one? There we go. And the reason for that is simple. In this game, when you die, you actually lose some of your skills until you can get some XP. If you get XP, you will reduce your vitae penalty, which is what it's called. So if you don't want to have it be sucks to suck all the time until you get that XP back, hanging on to a handful of these little trinkets here that'll give you quick experience, guaranteed when you hand them in, is a good way to go. The same is true of this coalesced mana, which we will also tuck in our vitae killing bag. And that's what I'm going to call it. So now that we've given all those charms, and look at all of them. You can hit F to stack stuff with existing stacks. There we go. 32,000 pyreals. Not bad considering we only started with 10. Oh, look at that big boy jump. Look at that big boy jump. We can go and see Asheron. We'll hand him his bag. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, Asheron. We found your seed. Look at that, 125,000 experience. Nice. We're going to talk to this. We'll do this guy's quest next time. Because we just got a ton of experience. Look at that, almost 1 million experience. I told you guys, 1 million experience is nothing in this game. Now, granted, this would have been 80,000 on a regular server, not 830,000. But, you know, this is the accelerated experience. I wanted to get you guys into the bigger content as well. Nice. 184 looking good. We're going to get some more melee defense. Melee defense is going to be the one that you want the most of out of the gate. It's not going to be as endgame critical, but if you want to make it to endgame, you are going to need melee defense. And that is because a lot of enemies, especially in the early game, are all up close and in your face. The more melee defense you have, there's two bonuses. First and foremost, they don't hit you. But second of all, when you're in combat and you're dodging and weaving and bobbing, it drains your stamina. The higher your melee defense, the less it drains your stamina. To a point where minor attacks don't even drain your stamina at all. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep it in mind. And we are going to crank our run. There we go. Almost 200 run. It's actually pretty decent. And that's our base run. That's before we take into account any spells that enhance it or anything else. That's just 200 base run. It's a beautiful thing. It means we go fast. And fast is good. Okay. We're going to log out in the Archmage's house. Alright, that's going to do us for today, guys. Next time, we will do Warsor's Quest. And I may have a couple of things going on at that point that, well, I've learned there's quality of life, and I might just take it. Also, it's really hard to find maps, so I might get one of those mini maps, because as I'm sure you can notice, there isn't one. But I'm going to look into it. We will see you in the next episode where we do Warsor's Quest. And then maybe we move on to something a little more challenging, a little more worth it. Okay? And until next time, you take care and don't let the bugs bite. Peace!